It's time!
All right, welcome back to the Reverse Mush podcast. Harry Mack here as always, my co-host Ross Bullitt. How we living, Ross?
Doing well, Harry. Real excited for this one we got coming out today. Was an awesome interview. Doing the interview, listening, and hopefully it comes out as fun as it was. But I'm doing well. Played a little golf this weekend. My swing is on track. Look out,
Love
Tour.
that.
Look out, PGA.
Brooks Bullitt.
Brooks Bullitt.
Ross Koepka.
Shot a fucking 9, or what did I shoot yesterday? 101, and then an 89 today. So
89 is not bad, man. My best round. The last season I was able to play golf before my hips disintegrated was an 88.
Yeah, I was shocked today, honestly. I was like at the end I was adding it up. I'm like, I don't think this is right, but apparently I shot an 89.
According to the card.
But no, it was a lot of fun getting out there, drinking all day. I think I smoked like 3 cigars today. Which probably sound like a fucking chain smoker, but
You sound like you've been smoking a pack of Marlboro Reds a pack a day for 30 years.
yeah, I'm fucking banged up, dude.
It's Labor Day weekend.
I'm
That's
banged
what
up,
happens.
dude.
That's what happens, man. Nothing wrong with that. But hey, like you said, man, we got something real special for the people today. If anybody ever needed proof that you could shill your way to anything, for all the kids listening out there, all the aspiring young podcasters, if Ross and I aren't living proof after this interview that you can shill your way to anything, then I don't know what is. Because we got to sit down with the one and only Ray Longo, head striking coach for the Sarah Longo fight team. And what an unbelievable interview. I mean, just the most like generous, genuine, awesome guy you've ever met, which just makes it like that much better to root for him and his guys, man. Cause like, you know what I mean? We loved him no matter what, and we wouldn't say a bad word no matter what. But as you'll hear in a minute, I mean, he could not have been more generous, could not have been more just like awesome and open to us. And hopefully we'll have some more Sarah Longo content to come in the future. Hopefully we'll be able to get there in the gym. Maybe one of us will get put in a pretzel or something. We'll have some fun stuff.
Yeah, nah, just like you said, unreal fucking interview. He's just an awesome dude. The fact that he gave us as much time as we even got and just was down to just shoot the shit and have a good time, just talk to us about basically everything, and just be genuine with it. Nothing, no bullshit, nothing fake. It was fucking cool, man. And like you said, crazy that we got to do it, but we're just gonna keep going and hopefully we get more and more of these cool interviews coming up.
Oh yeah, like we said, boy, it's brute force into this MMA industry.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say. I say we kind of just kick it over to Ray, let the people listen, and then we'll talk to him on the other side.
Absolutely, it's about that time, everybody. Hope you enjoyed as much as we did. All right, welcome back to the Reverse Mush podcast. Harry Mack here as always with my co-host Ross. We have a very special guest joining us this week, the one, the only Ray Longo, head striking coach at Sarah Longo. Ray, it's an honor, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, my pleasure, guys. My pleasure. During this crazy time, I think we got to keep it rolling. However we do it, we do it.
Exactly. Ray, like you said, first and foremost here, it is an absolute honor. We're more than excited for this. So just can't wait to hear about everything you've gone through, all the shit you've been through, all the people you've taught, all the champs you've taught, and let's say we just get after it.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you've been in this game since our parents were in diapers, realistically. I mean, you started
Harry,
training.
You're not starting this off good because you just made me 125 years old since your parents were in diapers.
The two of us are 24. The two of us are 24. If that makes you feel better.
Yeah, but, that's true.
You've been at it since 1972 training. I mean, you've trained boxers, kickboxers, Muay Thai. I saw you train Bruce Lee's discipline. such a diverse background in all sorts of different striking. So I guess a stupid question first and foremost, but is there anything that's kind of your favorite that that at the end of the day you go to the gym and you truly enjoy the most, whether it's teaching or doing it yourself or anything like that?
Oh, well, I always look. I love training the fighters because it's like you get to see if what you're doing is paying off. And for me, I've been lucky. It has paid off a lot of times. But I put a big emphasis on boxing. Obviously, I still love to box now. Even every day, I hit the pads. I can't kick as much as I used to. But the boxing I still love, and I think even for MMA, it's like a guy like Calvin Qatar. I think he's doing great just by having superior boxing to everybody. So, still an important facet, like every other discipline is. But I put a big emphasis on the hands. I think you got to be able to get a guy out with your hands.
I think the fans love to see that as well. Nothing like
Yeah,
a nice knockout to get the juices flowing.
exactly.
But also, just to stick with all your different backgrounds, just to backtrack here. I mean, what got you into this stuff? What was the
Man,
starter for you?
uh, man, it started. Man, I was really, really young, and I don't know. I always held, hung out with like older kids in the neighborhood, and they would always tell me about this karate guy. Back then, there's no internet, there's no YouTube, but I had this. It was just a little guy, and he, was kicking everybody's ass type of deal. And then I ended up meeting the guy and training with him, and I don't know. I was just kind of fascinated. Always had a love for martial arts, and then. Obviously Bruce Lee was a big influence. When his movies came out, it was like who didn't get motivated, like that. So, man, I was just a young kid, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. Didn't know how I was going to do it. Went to St. John's, got an accounting degree, did that for like 6 years while I was teaching and training, and just took it to another level. Took a shot, and knock on wood, everything worked out.
Exactly. That's awesome. Nothing like being the little guy walking around just beating the shit out of the older
Oh
guys.
man, no, and the guy was a great martial artist. He really was, and I think because he was a big influence because he did, he was into physical fitness. We're talking like again, like you said, 72, 73, where I don't know, nobody was doing anything. Everybody was still doing katas and stuff like that, and this guy was ahead of his time. But definitely big emphasis on physical fitness. He was a black belt under. He was a Shotokan black belt, and he started with Chinese Kung Fu under Alan Lee. And I don't know, it was a good experience, and I just took it from there.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Definitely. So, I mean, you've trained UFC champions, gold glove boxers, kickboxing champions. I mean, various mixed martial arts disciplines, guys that have won at basically every level of sports. But I had an interesting question here. I
Yeah.
thought it was interesting. At least I'll give myself a little compliment there. But what would you say is the most difficult fight you've ever had to game plan for as a coach?
Oh, that's a good question. Most difficult fight, man. I really have to think about. I mean, I'm going to say for a big fight, the most fun was GSP and Matt. I think we had that pretty nailed down, pretty good. We had brought in great guys, and that was fun because Matt was just coming into his own with the striking, and I don't think anybody realized it yet. Um, so that was fun. I guess the Anderson Silva was no joke because when Weidman fought Anderson, I mean he was a highlight reel extravaganza. I mean, if you look at his highlights of knockouts, you'd get rattled just by looking at that. So that was a difficult one because Anderson had jujitsu, he had strike, he had really good striking, and he was on a run at that time. So both fights. One I think was really fun, and one I think you're right. The Anderson Silva that was a little tougher, I think.
Yeah,
And
I mean that was. Sorry, Ross.
sorry, but
Yeah,
speaking of that Silva fight, I don't want to miss it here. I saw you did have some funny comments regarding Silva. I guess when he said he was thinking about retirement before the first one. I know time's gone by. Weidman's coming off a nice win. Silva's coming back to fight. What's Uriah Hall coming up? I think Halloween.
Yeah.
Any interest in doing that one more time?
I have absolutely no interest in doing that one more time. If it
I
was
thought so.
if it was
Thought
1 and
so.
1, I could see it. But Owen, he's 2-0, and
There's no
you know,
no.
I think Anderson probably at this time should. I don't think he's got anything left to prove. I tell you, Ryan Hall's going to be a tough fight for him.
Definitely.
They're really going to be a tough fight because I think he's slowed down a little bit, Anderson, and Uriah is really good. He's got great stand up, and I think it's going to be similar to Adesanya and Anderson.
That was a fun one.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully, coming up in a couple of months here, you'll have your third UFC champion under your belt in Aljamain. Do we got a date for that fight yet?
Definitely no date. I'm glad to hear Dana at least admitted that that's going to be the fight.
About
Took
time.
long enough.
Yeah, right. I think what happened there is they were waiting on Frankie and Munoz. If Frankie would have went out there and made a statement, like taking Munoz out in 1 or 2 rounds, I think Frankie would have got that shot. I think that's why. Yeah, I think
I would have rioted.
Yeah, exactly. That's where they were heading with that, though, I believe. And when that one was, a lot of people thought Munoz won, so I think that was what made Dana say, he's giving it to Aljo. But I think they should have said that way before. That's the only reason I say that.
Absolutely.
Why even waiting for that? So I think the timing of when he said it was a little weird.
Yeah. What kind of message does that send to your fighters? I mean, Aljo's on an absolute tear right now. Hasn't lost a fight since, what was that, Marlon in 2016? That was 4 years.
And that was the last
freakish,
minute.
freakish knockout.
And he replaced the jiu-jitsu guy Aljo was supposed to fight. I can't think of his name. Been around forever though, but so that was a totally different fight,
Right.
But I think the message it sends is you got to act like an idiot to get a fight. That's really the problem. I mean, nobody knows. I mean, I'd like to think that hard work is rewarded, and that if you do the right things, you're going to get the shot. But we've seen crazier stuff. I mean, look at Jose Aldo coming off a loss, getting a title shot. So listen, it is what it is. I don't think there's anything we could do about it. So
I'm just glad. I'm glad
Cody. When you get your opportunity, man, you better make the most of it because you might never get it again.
Oh yeah. I'm glad Cody decided to go down to flyweight and screw up that division instead.
yeah, right, exactly. Because it's anybody with name value.
Exactly.
So right now, that's what they look at, And I guess Frankie being a former champ, that's what they're selling. You know what I mean? So if they could have did that, I think they would have did that. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, Aljo's in his prime. He's finished all of these guys, all the top contenders in the division. I don't understand what more you could possibly need to do.
It should have been announced.
He
that
definitely
night of Sandhagen.
Yeah, he definitely earned that right for a title shot.
But he got it at the end of the day. He's got it. It's coming up, and just speaking of that fight, I mean, not looking to give away any game plans here, but do you think what do you think, I guess, Aljo's just main key to success is going to be against Jan?
Look, he's very unorthodox, so he's hard to game plan for. Obviously, Jan's a great striker. I think Aljo can negate that with his style, which is really unlike. I mean, he's just more, he's more kick heavy than punch heavy. And on the floor, he'll have a huge advantage, I believe. So I think it's a great fight. I think it's a really great fight. You kind of know what Jan's going to do. You technically don't know what Aljo's going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot wait for that one. And
I mean, that's going to be great.
We'll be back in Aljo heavy.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So would you say that you're more involved in game planning and training for a guy with boxing like Jan's than you would be for, say, like Aljo going up against a Cejudo or someone like that who kind of specializes more in the wrestling?
No, I'm not. I'm involved with the game planning no matter what. I bring in people to just make sure what I'm looking at is right. So if it was a heavy jiu-jitsu guy, obviously Matt's going to be instrumental on making sure any of those bad positions where a guy could lose, he'll be tightened up. If it's more wrestling, obviously we got Weidman, who's a stud wrestler, who's going to tighten that up. But it's a group effort for sure. But no, I'd be involved with anything, with everything that's happening. So Uh, obviously when it comes to the striking, yeah, that's where I feel comfortable. But with the other stuff, I'm just surrounded by great people that I bring in and they help out.
We actually recently got to speak to Dennis Bazookia, who we talked to him actually on Saturday right before the fight, and the main thing I took away from that was just how important what's going on behind the scenes there is in the family and how close knit the group is. I mean, what do you like? Obviously, you're the guy running the show there. So, what do you think you're doing right there that you brought in these guys and you're teaching them? It's more than just you're going out there to fight. You're there to be there for each other. And
Yeah, yeah, good. I mean, good question. You know what it is? I think we keep it small. Me and Matt both have a philosophy. We love being with the guys we're with. So we're not recruiting people. We're technically just taking people from the neighborhood and giving them a platform, and it just creates a better bond. You know what I mean? And I think we've been doing it for so long that there is life after fighting. Look at Matt. He's more well known now than when he was fighting, and he was a champ. Uh, so I think when these guys, they have a lot of experience that they have at their hands, and Bazooka's a great example of that too. I mean, look, he's only 22. I thought that was his fight to win or lose. It was kind of heartbreaking. He survived a pretty brutal first round, came back and won the second round. It came down to the third round. It was close, but
yeah,
I believe the other guy won. So, but I do think Bazooka exposed that guy, and that's why Dana didn't really pick him. You would have thought that
right,
would have been, something, but I think Dana saw what everybody else saw, that once he couldn't get him out of there, he kind of faded. It's just Bazooka kind of faded too as he got, so
Right.
it is what it is. But Dennis is a great kid, and he's only 22, so he can
He'll
make
be
some
back.
corrections. And I gotta tell you, I think everybody loved the fight. It was definitely a great fight, and I think the UFC's on the map, and they're gonna end up calling him up for sure.
I think you're right. I think it was. I mean, it was an awesome fight, and like you said, not to. I guess we could talk about judging after this, but the fact that a judge had that 30-27
Yeah,
is just it's just
Unbelievable.
bizarre. And I guess just piggybacking off of that, do you think the judging is how it should be right now? Do you think there should be more of it? It should make it a little less subjective, or
Look, man, I've been saying this for years. They just need to be held accountable. That's it. You want to hear what they have to say after the fight, and then people could make their decisions whether they should judge or not. But there should be some of these guys. They should be sent down to the minor leagues for a year and then come back. But if you just let them do whatever they want, make bad decisions, and there's no repercussions, you're gonna have a problem. You know what I mean? And that's where it gets crazy. I think they have to be held accountable, and if they make a bad decision, which everybody's entitled to, they got to be sent down to the minors, or they have to be suspended, and then they could come back and just let's hear why that guy scored that 30-27. That's
Yeah.
the first
right?
thing. We don't know. We could just sit here and pontificate between ourselves, but let's find out what the guy was thinking. And I got to tell you, I believe if you listen to some of these guys, you'll go, "Holy crap! What the hell is this guy doing judging?" That's the problem.
Right.
That's why the commissions protect them. They don't want them talking to nobody because they got their own little like boys club going on. It's crazy, really
It's
crazy to me. But 30-27. Look, the guys that had it 29-28 were correct. And if Dennis would have won that third round and made a statement, he's winning that fight by split decision. So they would have eliminated that bad decision, which I think is good.
Yeah, that's true. And that armbar was so goddamn close in
And
the
that was
third.
close too. Yeah.
very
No,
close.
he had, look, it was his fight to win or lose, man. It really was. And uh, I don't know. Look, he fought great.
He'll be
I was,
back.
you know, I was watching the fight. I was coming out of my chair. I feel awful I wasn't there for him, but this whole fucking quarantine pandemic, it's just caused so many weird side effects to life. It's crazy.
That's
So
wild. Well, he was still in good hands with Aljo and Steve
yeah,
Lee.
yeah, yeah, without a
For
doubt.
sure.
No, and Aljo's a great corner guy. So yeah, my heart goes out to him because I think that was a good fight. I don't know. I can't say anything else, but
Nah, it
Yeah.
was.
I was hoping he was going to edge it out in the third, and it didn't happen. So it is what it is.
Oh, he'll definitely back. And I guess speaking of you and Aljo in the corner, we were actually lucky enough to be at a fight that the two of you cornered together. We were cage side for James Gonzalez, Pat Sabatini in Philly.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
We got a
that was
hell
a
of a
good
highlight.
yeah, that was a good fight to be at.
A great
Yeah.
fight.
I think me and Aljo might be undefeated in the corner. I'm not kidding.
You guys
night
went
you were.
3-0 that night.
Yeah. No, it was
And-
good. Yeah, what a crazy submission that was.
Absolutely.
And Gonzalez were trying to push up there too. So we'll see. We got
I
about
was-
5 more guys to come up.
Ross and I have been doing everything in our power to try and get James a fight. We're all over the internet trying to get James a fight. He
Yes,
came
we
and
are.
we talked to
Yeah.
him. He's been here and sat down with us and was nice enough to give us his time. And we've said
Nice.
we told Dennis last weekend we consider ourselves like the unofficial propaganda wing of Sarah Longo. So like nobody can call us shills or hacks if we're just open about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I thought they accused Ariel Hawani of that. So now you're taking over.
Yeah,
But you're right.
exactly.
At least you guys are open about it. I think it makes it better. But
Yeah.
I mean, he went into that guy's backyard and silenced that crowd was
Unbelievable.
silent.
Well, I'm
What
actually
a-
from Philly, and it was
Oh wow.
I knew a lot of people there that because I'm not from far from where Pat was from, so I knew a lot of people there. But me and Harry were pulling for James.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
saw the
that's
Sarah
awesome,
Longo
yeah.
corner, and it was funny as shit too because we were running. It was in a casino. We're running
Yeah.
all around. We're looking for a line for James, who probably would have been a fucking plus 5,000 dog. We couldn't
Oh, he
get it
could have.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it anywhere.
Nobody would take our money.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Very unfortunate. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why nobody wants to fight the man. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to fight the man.
Yeah, we're gonna get him in there. He's ready. He's always staying ready. So, and he wants to fight at 35. So he did them a favor by stepping in last minute. And we'll see what happens. But no, good guy. Crazy jujitsu for MMA. He had a good fight with Algio, who just fought Lamas.
Yeah.
I think Bill Algio's another guy who's really, really good.
It won fight of the night.
Yeah, he got to prove it, man. And Lamas is no joke, and he was right in there until the third round.
Mhm.
He was on his way to winning that fight, I think. So hats off to him too. But him and Gonzalez fought, and that was at 45, and I think James at 35 is going to be a major problem.
Yeah, absolutely. That was what we were talking about with him. How at 145 he's kind of average size, but at 135 he's definitely going to be one of the bigger guys in there. And with you guys teaching him the striking over there and the incredible jujitsu he's already got, I think James could be a real problem going forward.
Yeah, we got a couple of those guys, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna see them within the next. If we could ever get this thing behind us and get the gym up and running, you're gonna see
Hopefully.
another 5 guys coming up that are really pretty good.
Awesome. We'll be happy to talk to him.
Absolutely. We'll do our magical show work as always.
That's
So,
it.
I guess
I'm gonna start directing everybody to you guys.
Oh, we love it.
Please do. Our doors are always open.
Awesome.
Always open. We got an intern this week, and I got him making a Sarah Longo fight team graphic right now. That was one of his first
Nice.
assignments.
Nice.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it.
good and proper. So I guess
Nice.
going off some of the prospects that you guys have right now, I kind of wanted to ask you: has there ever been a prospect that you've just kind of whether it's at a fight or you're in the gym or something like that, you just saw them working and you just thought immediately like I need to work with this guy. Like I know that guy, girl, whomever it is, like I know that if I work with this person, I can take them to that next level, and they have it, whatever it may be.
Oh yeah, well no, that would definitely be Weidman. I mean, without a doubt. When I first saw him and he was raw, when he was coming up, man, he was just. I think he was unbeatable. But we got to get him back on track now. But when he was coming up, he was the guy. I knew that he was running through people at the beginning. So. Sometimes life gets in the way too. You get a couple of kids, a house, and things. Your focus changes, and that's part of being a champion too. But it's not easy. You gotta. But again, he's just got to refocus if he wants to really make a run out of it. And when he's on, he's on. And again, guys had 23 surgeries, so it's
That's
I don't know.
wild.
Yeah, tough. So the older you get, that becomes a problem. But when I first saw him, I think he was the most raw talent, like I saw. Like he was just his wrestling was so freaking good. I knew he could dominate, just with that. And that was it. Yeah, I think him. I Quinta too, man. I like Quinta come in the gym. Somebody brought him in and he fought. You guys remember George Soteropoulos?
The
He
name
was on the
sounds
show.
very
He was
familiar.
on the show with me and Matt. And he was at one time a 55
Okay.
prospect. He was from Australia. You'll look him up. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Al came in, man, and holy shit, man, they sparred. And this was when George was on the way up. And I was like, who the fuck? I'm like, who is this kid, man? He was like 19. So he was another guy that came in and just was, what a crazy sparring session. And I was like, I think there's another guy, who just, for being 19 years old was fucking phenomenal, man. But yeah, so I'd say Chris and Al, I saw that for sure.
Gotcha. And Chris, you just you saw in the gym or on the wrestling circuit here on the island?
No, I
Seeing...
saw him in the gym. I didn't even. Chris was there. Was a kid from the gym saying, "Can he just come over? You want to meet him?" I was like, "No, I'm good, man." We had Drago. Matt was still fighting. I didn't really give a shit. And I must have blown this guy off for like 6 months. And then Weidman one night just walks through the gym on his own, and we ended up just watching some sparring together. I took an immediate liking to him, and then probably next week he jumped in there with no stand up at all, and just man, he's just crushing people. Crazy, correct? Crazy athlete, crazy mindset, and physicality was. He was a handful for anybody at the beginning. Just bad. He was a bad matchup for anybody.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm from the islands here, so Weidman is definitely a big part of why I love the UFC and MMA and all of that. But yeah, I guess if it's
Yeah.
any early indication of Weidman's dominance, my physical therapist actually, we were talking about him the other day, or a couple weeks ago after his last fight, said that he actually wrestled with him in high school. He's from Mineola, and he said
Oh shit! What's his name?
Jeff. I'm blanking on his last name right now. That's unfortunate.
No, it's funny because I just left the gym. The coach in Mineola was coming in as I was coming out because I grew up in the next town over, Williston Park.
Oh, there
So
you go. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Fort Washington here. I'm in Glen Cove now. But yeah, he said he wrestled
Oh wow,
Weidman in
nice.
high school and did not score a single point. Just didn't
Yeah,
score a
no,
single
he
point in
was
the match.
no, brutal. No, he had a stellar. He beat some big names in college wrestling too, man. He beat Bader, he beat Phil Davis. I
The
mean,
All
he was
American.
yeah,
Exactly.
he was rolling, man. Those guys are no joke. So yeah, that's funny, man.
And then I just wanted, I know you mentioned it earlier. Obviously, this whole year's been fucking nuts. Pandemic and everything going on. How crazy has it been? I mean, obviously, we got to speak to fighters about their training through all this, but what's it like from the coach's perspective? I know you were doing some FaceTime work, but how's
Yeah,
that been?
just strange is what I'm gonna say. Just everything was I don't know. It just strange. And we were, you know what it was, guys. We were on such a roll before this thing hit, and then when it hit, who was training in the garage, who was doing this, nobody knew what to do with the information. I think at least now we have a grip on how to stay safe, at least, so it's a little better. But man, it was just weird at the beginning. I don't know how to explain it, but they kind of separated everybody. Now, Fravola's training in Florida because I mean, the gym's still not open. I don't know what's. It's just it's chaotic to me. So the fact that we're even doing what we're doing is good, but I think it would have been a big difference if this thing never happened. I think a couple of the losses might have been different, but everybody's in the same category, I guess. I don't know. But then I talk to people from Florida. They say, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Everything's back to normal.
They think it's fake down there.
Yeah, 100%. They think
It's a mess.
And I'll tell you what, man, and I think I'm not making excuses, but Bazooka did have it. He had it before his last fight at the Ring of Combat. I remember thinking he had the flu. I kept telling him, go to the doctor. I can't breathe. I think he got bronchitis. I mean, It ended up he got tested. He had COVID, and his lungs have never been the same. Never ever been the same. So I don't know. I think the young people that got it, I think it sticks with them a little longer. So
Yeah, James was telling us he thought he had it in before the Sabatini fight also. Because he said
wow.
you had some guys who came over from Italy around that time in like
Oh, without a
January or
doubt. Yeah,
something
we
like
had a
that.
guy.
And yeah, he said like a
Yeah.
bunch of fighters got very, very sick. And like looking back, like it
Yeah.
was just
What
before we
month
really
was?
knew.
Yeah. When was that fight with
Early
Sabatini?
It was
February.
early February. So I
Yeah.
think he said he was sick like January leading up to training camp. And I guess that would kind of line up with like when it was
I'll tell
kind
you
of
what.
starting to
Yeah, this
blow
guy
up.
Pietro definitely was in, and I think Iaquinta got sick too. So there were a bunch of people. You just thought it was normal seasonal shit because
Yeah.
nothing was said. Nothing, the word wasn't even around yet. And then,
Yeah, it was before any of us knew what was going on. Not that we
yeah,
know what's
so
going on now, but
yeah, right, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
But
might be in
even
worse shape now.
could be.
yeah, fuck, it's a mess. But you did say maybe a couple of the fights would have gone different. The record this year, it's not too shabby. I think we're at 19-2 now for the gym. Do you think just having that close knit group and having a team that's as close as they are helped with the success during all this crazy shit?
No question about it, because even at the beginning they were using Al's garage, and yeah, they were like a band of brothers, man. They did a great job. Look, there's so many talented people, and like you say, Aljo's a great coach, and these young guys have people to look up to, which I think makes a big difference. They see how successful these guys are and what they did to get there. And it's not rocket science, you know what I mean? You got to work hard, surround yourself with good people that actually care about you. And I think you got 80% of the battle won already.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like I said, when we spoke to Dennis, that was the main thing I took away. But even thinking about during all this crazy shit, like you just said, it's as long as you're with the right people, you're a head start.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, these guys did they work really good together. That's why I say, like, part of the problem now, guys, even when you go to the fights, you can't bring your team with you. You could bring a couple of coaches, that's it. But normally we bring people to work with, while we're right before the fight. Like when we're in Vegas, we weren't even allowed to do that. So we had to change up things. And like, again, does that make, is that a difference? I don't know, but it's not what anybody was used to, for sure. So you had to make
Right.
adjustments. But again, everybody was in the same boat. But some guys it's going to affect differently. But I think my point is we had a really good recipe before this thing, and then we had to change it. So
Well, hopefully, whatever you switched it to, it's still working. Hopefully, we
yeah,
can get a nice mix of the two recipes once shit gets a
yeah,
little back to normal.
yeah. We'll get it. It's going to take a little time, but I think we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's always a work in progress. There's always fine tuning.
Yeah,
Nothing's
without it.
ever where it needs to be.
Yeah,
Can always be better. So
yeah.
I kind of noticed lately that you've been doing a lot more media and kind of getting more into the commentary and media side of things with like Anik and Florian and all those guys. So is that kind of by design, or is that just something that happened, or what's going on there?
Good. First of all, I totally agree with you. I don't know what it is. I think it's all part of not wanting to go stir crazy at my house. So I just keep talking to people and acting like nothing's going on. But
There you go.
yeah,
Hey,
you're right,
people
man.
will listen. Might as well
It's
talk.
funny, man. When I had Matt, I wouldn't even do an interview. I never even returned anybody's call. I don't know when this thing switched around, but who the hell knows? Yeah, but you're right though. No, I think it keeps me motivated too, and I like giving back. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for everything I've gotten from this sport, and just like you guys are young, if anything I could do to help you, it just makes me feel better. That's kind of what I do. And sometimes it's hard for me to believe that you'd even want to talk to me. So,
I assure you,
but,
we very
you know
much
what I'm
did.
saying. So, but I think it's just a way of giving back. And, now everybody has the time because of what's going on. So
No, definitely.
I really enjoy doing it.
You might be producing the best content on the internet during this whole thing with your quarantine parade. So
Oh, yeah.
you're doing
Yeah.
something
Oh
right.
yeah.
What was the inspiration there for the quarantine parades? How did that start?
Well,
Because
the
I feel like
inspiration was
I just
yeah.
went on Instagram one day and there you were yelling, "Let's go!" and the whole neighborhood's driving
Yeah,
by.
Yeah, the inspiration was I couldn't be at the fights, and I wanted to try to do anything I could to motivate these guys to get a win. And I don't know. One day I was at the gym, and I think what happened was on my birthday, they surprised me. They did a drive by to my house, and everybody came over, and we were hanging out. This is right at the beginning, like this was in May, and I just thought, you know what, man, that's not a bad idea if we do that for each fight. Just to show the unity and to support these guys because they hadn't even seen anybody at that point. When I first started doing it, there was nothing. I wasn't traveling. So I said, you know what, maybe I could help out by doing this. And, everybody was supportive and we always had a great group of guys that would come down and, they got better as we went along. But I just thought if I could change like even 1%, uh, you know, I thought it would be great. That's why I thought like even Bazooka's mother did such a great job on that.
That was great.
That's
It's
awesome.
like I wanted that win. I wanted to win more for her at that point.
That's
It's like
they're all heartwarming, man. They really are.
Yeah.
It's some good old fashioned wholesome content. And you love to see it.
And then we put in that blooper with Volante. I had Weidman and now on the fight. He's really we're always busting his balls. He's really not part of the team, but he's always there. So I said, I think this will be funny. He gets like 1/10 of the parade everybody else gets.
That's electric.
Perfect.
So funny.
Man. Well, I can tell you, I'm personally very grateful that that's what your mindset is as far as giving back to everybody. Because A, it means we get to sit down here and talk to you. But B, I mean, you have, pretty objectively speaking, one of like the greatest MMA minds of our generation. And there's a whole lot of there's a whole lot of knowledge on striking and mixed martial arts up there. And so yeah, if you can give that back and just kind of that's your way of giving back to the people, man, that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, no, it's always good. You got to listen. You have to be a giver, not a taker. That's the first thing. And I would never want to, like, again, I'm grateful for everything I have, even for all the fighters and everything we've accomplished. It's a feel good thing. You know what I mean? So it's all good.
That's a great way to look at things. And you got to give yourself a little bit of credit at the end of the day. Like I said earlier, you're a key cog in this whole thing and put a lot of it together. So
Definitely.
We want the best. The best is yet to come. I told Aljo the other day when they announced the fight, "Oh man, give me the hat trick. That's all I want." And then he sent back 3 Stanley Cups.
Just wait till I get the gloves on.
I love it. Has there ever been a coach in the UFC coach 3 champions? I don't know that off the top of my head.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: there hasn't been a coach that's taken 3 guys from the ground up, like their first pro fight. So
that's definitely.
Although I think Aljo might have had a couple of pro fights, if I'm not mistaken, but not in the UFC yet. Yeah, we'd have to put a disclaimer on that, but there's got to be somebody with a, not the way we did it. I'll be honest with you. We kept it small. You know what I mean? We never recruited anybody, and I think that's the difference. I could have went out and did that, but I never wanted to. So yeah, look, it's been a good ride. If it ended tomorrow, it was a great ride. But I think we got some good stuff coming down the pipe, so I'm excited.
We're
these guys
excited to see it.
Keeping me young, these guys.
Absolutely, I'm sure. So, do you still spar in the gym?
I pick my sparring partners, mostly female at this point. I can keep it. I just sparred last week. Yeah, I'm not. My hip's been killing me, so it's a little weird. But I'm in the gym every day. So, yeah, I do, but very lightly. But I like just still keeps the reflexes on point. So that's good.
Yeah, well, if it makes you feel better, you probably have better hips than I do. I'm 24, coming off a double hip arthroscopy.
Really? For what? Torn labrum?
Yep, both sides.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Wow. He says a torn labrum right away. I didn't even know you could get that in your hip.
Yeah, doctors, they have no idea how. I just, I was having trouble walking one day. I went in and they were like, "Oh yeah, no." The doctor was like, "Yeah, the one thing we don't want to see is a torn labrum in your hip." And do the MRI. Wait a couple days. It comes back. Yeah, so you have a torn labrum in your hip. And then as soon as the doctor,
Wow.
with my luck, I knew the doctor who did the first surgery. He was like, "Yeah, so just so you know, about 30% of the time, if you do one side, you have to do the other side. You wind up having to do it." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's great information to have." And then that
Oh
started
man.
bothering me during that recovery. And then he was like,
Oh man. And you
"Yes,
did you try physical therapy first?
yeah, I tried just about everything first.
And
I was
nothing more. Yeah. I
lidocaine,
could.
and yeah, I was on.
Yeah.
I tried, like, I didn't want to be on pain medication and all that.
Yeah.
That's no
No,
way to go
definitely
through
not.
life.
No,
But
man, I don't know. I've been rehabbing for about 2 years now, but I definitely have bad arthritis in one hip, and
so
I'm gonna
if you need a
say,
hip specialist, I got you. My
yeah,
guy's good.
who'd you use?
Dr. Hume at NYU.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah, I just didn't want to go for surgery. I'm gonna try to wait as long as possible, but I do. There's good days and bad days, but that's weird, man. You're young for that. I'm
Yeah,
finding that that's
they
He's
got to
told
got
be.
it.
me.
He's got an old man's body.
Yeah, I'm 24 going on
He's been
85.
breaking shit for years.
Now, did they say that was unusual for a guy your age to be having
Quite.
that surgery?
Quite. But the doctor basically told me, he was like, "Yeah, I mean, you can put it off and just deal with the pain, but if you don't do this surgery now, then chances are by the time you're 35, you'll need a full hip replacement." I was like, "Well, that doesn't
Wow.
sound fun at all. So
Wow.
let's have some hip surgery."
Wow. How long did it take you to come back from that?
I'm still coming back now. The second
Oh,
one was in June, so I'm actually just over like 8 weeks out from the second one. And
wow.
the first one was in November, so I'm in PT 3 times a week still on the
Oh
grind.
man.
But
Wow.
yeah, they said it's like 6 months to get back to like 80%, and then another 6 months to get back to 100%. But then after that, I should hopefully be good to go, and all of it'll be, it
Man.
sucks to go through now. But in the end, it'll be a blip on the radar. We'll be all good.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Gotta stay
true. Yeah.
positive. And I
See,
got
I don't have many blips left on my radar, so I'm just gonna keep on grinding this out. They're gonna have to drag me out piece by piece at this point.
yeah, it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, it's like there was one time because I don't even scream as much as I used to, but I mean I was literally used to be insane in the corner, and I had developed a polyp on my vocal cord, and I went to a couple of doctors. They took they stuck the camera down my throat, and they wanted me to get surgery. They said it wasn't cancerous, but I was talking like a frog. I had that, and this is
Smoking
going on
three
for
packs
this
of
is going
Marlboro
on for
Reds a day.
a couple of months. This is going on, and I said, "Well, what is the surgery?" Well, you're not going to be able to talk for like 2 months. I go, 2 months. I got guys fighting. I can't do it. So I just kind of ignored it, and it went away by itself, which I'm almost saying is a miracle.
How about
But when
that?
he said I wasn't going to be able to talk for 2 months, and there was some big fights coming up, I go, I can't do it. I'm going to have to be screaming. So I started, not screaming as much or being in tune because back in the day, man, even with the kickboxing, if I had 5 guys fighting, like the last 2 guys would say to me, "Can you not scream so much?" Because by the time I would get to them, you couldn't even hear me. I had no voice.
I
So,
think
Oh
it's
man.
something in the water here on the island, because I get
I
told I'm
guess.
very loud all the time.
Yeah. But so that's funny, man. Got to stay healthy. That's the name of the game.
That's
Yeah,
first and
exactly.
foremost. But as somebody who has openly said that the next time I have a medical issue, I'm just ignoring it until it's no longer a problem. That polyp story is an inspiration to me. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
that one in the back pocket next time I'm getting
Yeah.
some advice from some
Oh
medicine
yeah.
man.
Some
And
NYU doctor.
I went to 2 experts on that. I don't want to jinx myself. I'll probably have throat cancer
Yeah,
next year.
knock on wood for
Yeah,
you.
we'll knock. Yeah, can't have that now.
No.
I really just have, I guess, one more question for you, just off the fighting. I saw you dabbled in the movie industry a little bit, and you got to work with some pretty freaking cool actors. What
I
was that
really
like, and how'd you get into that?
I tell you, man, I did love it. I still would like to do something, yeah, but that industry got killed too. But
Right.
had a guy I was training, and one day says, you want to come in as we're doing like it was like that. It was the Brooklyn Bank. It was a
Yeah.
mob movie, and he goes, "You want to come down? You could be like a background guy, or we're doing like a scene in the social club." So I go, "Let me check it out." And then I met I went to dinner in Queens, and I met Federico Castellucci. Oh man, I hope I'm holy crap. The guy played Fiorio in The Sopranos. I hope I'm not butchering his name, but what a great guy. What a nice guy. So, no, we got to get this guy in there. And then they wrote a couple of lines for me, but then I think because I wasn't in SAG, I couldn't really, there were other people. So I did a lot of standing, and then I did a couple of shorts with some people. That this guy Eduardo Ballerino, I think, is a great actor. But that business is just like fighting, man. It's tough. It's just tough to get to the top. But this guy was really talented, so I learned a lot from him. And then I was fortunate enough to do that thing on Kevin Can Wait with Kevin James, which was a pisser and a half. Yeah, I think I'd really love the comedy more than anything else.
Yeah, who doesn't love some comedy?
Yeah, so that shit was fun, man. It really was. And for me, it was just let me do something different and let me challenge myself. And it's nerve wracking when you're just the only guy in front of the camera and you gotta produce. So it was a great experience. I hope to do it more.
Yeah,
but
it'd be awesome to see you in another mob movie.
Yeah,
definitely. I think you could star in a comedy movie. You could be like the heartthrob in a romantic comedy. You got the hair for it.
Yeah, now I'm starting to grow the hair out. Yeah,
you got it's like, what is it? The Fabio hair.
Yeah, now I'm like, it's the quarantine hair. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just didn't want to. I really couldn't get a haircut, so it just kept going and going. And I was like, I might as well just go with this until everything's over.
At least you can still grow it, man.
I'm back to
my
the
father's
70s.
getting bald.
Your father and those guys are in diapers when I was growing this hair.
Yeah, no, that had to be an exaggeration. They were probably 10. Probably 10.
Yeah, they were getting there.
Yeah, they were just out of diapers. That makes it sound a little better.
Yeah, I guess opening up with an insult probably wasn't my smartest move.
Yeah. I think that was a backhanded. That was a backhanded insult. I don't think it was meant to be.
Exactly. Yeah, it was unintentional, of course. I would, like we said, we're shills. We would never say a bad word about anybody who's part of the Ray Longo team.
Never heard of it.
That's funny.
But
how long you guys been doing this podcast for?
So we did it before everything was shut down for a while, just giving out picks, only for a couple of months. And originally we started doing college football picks, but Ross and I are big MMA guys, so we wanted to we wanted to get more into MMA. So yeah, we started doing that up like
right when the fights came back.
Yeah, right when fights came back, we relaunched that, and then James sat down with us early, and I mean we've been lucky enough to sit down and get to talk to some awesome people since then. So hopefully we have a future here. Hopefully we can blow up, quit our day jobs, and do this for a living. Because boy, that would be the dream. That would be fun. But
awesome. Anything I could do to help you, man, we'll do it. But anybody on the team you want to talk to that you haven't talked to?
Hey, appreciate that. And I think Aljo might be our white whale at this point.
Oh wow! Well, he's got to get out there, man. He's got this fight. He's got to promote it. So I don't think that'll be a problem.
We'd certainly be happy awesome. to talk to anyone on the team.
We'll talk to anybody. So I've been going back and forth with Charlie the Cannibal. We're hopefully going to have him on
good.
The next couple of weeks.
So you're in touch with everybody. All right, cool, man. Good.
Yeah, we're slowly burrowing our way into the team. Before long, we'll just you'll turn around one day and we'll just be standing in the corner just cheering everyone on.
Well, that's why I asked you where you were from, because I said if we could have did it at the gym, that might have been easier, but and then when you said, I think you were driving in from Philly, I was like, I don't want to do that to nobody. Just we'll keep it like this. That was kind of my
in the future.
I think in our excitement, we kind of forgot that there was this pandemic thing going on.
Yeah. But if you guys ever want to come to the gym and do something, let me know. We'll make it happen.
We would love to.
We would love to, man. Thank you so much. But we don't need to take up any more of your time. You've been incredibly generous to us. So again, thank you so much, Ray. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to get to before we let you go?
Nah, it's all good, man. It's all good. But I'm happy to do this. And again, I'll try to keep plug you guys as much as I can.
We appreciate it.
Thanks
Ray.
so much,
man.
This
was an honor.
All right, guys. The honor was mine. But listen, have a great night. Now we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Stay safe.
Definitely.
All right, guys.
Good, man.
Take it easy. All right, bye.
All right. We got some new pals this week. We got our friends at worldgamblingstandard.com. You could get yourself some of these dice here because the dice are better at gambling than we are. They're better at making decisions than we are. Get yourself some of the dice. Get yourself a little Pete Rose bet notebook. They got a lot of cool shit over there. You can use code BASEMENT for 15% off anything at worldgamblingstandard.com. And now we're gonna see what the dice like for the fights this weekend. So we got a unit amount. We got the over under. We got home and away. We're gonna roll for Angela Hill, Michelle Watterson. Michelle's gonna be home and she's gonna be away. Let's see what we got. What do the dice have? Fuck. Home, 1 unit, and the under. All right, you heard it here first, folks. Someone's going to sleep. As per the dice, you can get those dice and more. WorldGamblingStandard.com. Promo code BASEMENT for 15% off. Rip it. All right, we're back. That was fucking awesome.
That was something.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome, man. I know we're broken records and we're just filleting ourselves a little bit here, but I mean, that again, truly proof that you can shill your way to anything. A huge thank you to Ray for giving us his time and for being just flat out awesome and answering my texts and dealing with us.
Yeah,
just in general.
Unreal. Like we did briefly speak about, we were looking at like it was going to be an in-person interview at first. Obviously, with everything going on and me being in Philadelphia, it made it a little tough. But hopefully, down the line, we get out to Ray Longo, make some content there. Like Harry said earlier,
like we will.
Maybe get put in a pretzel. But dude, it was fucking that for two straight days after that. I was just like, yeah, I can't believe that just kind of happened.
Absolutely giddy.
I can't believe that happened.
Giddy like a awesome, small child.
Like you said, big thanks to Ray. Just fucking awesome, dude. And what a guy. What an awesome interview.
For certain. So I guess we'd be a little remiss if we didn't at least acknowledge that we had some violence this past weekend. I've been calling this
very some
stress the sum. Yeah, this was the official UF COVID card. Down, I think it opened. It was supposed to be 12 or 13 fights, and we wound up with 7 on fight day. 7 fights. Just
that whole Corona thing.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody tweet. I think it was the first UFC card that was exclusively a main event since 2008. I think.
So what I saw was it was the first card since 2005 with 7 or fewer fights on it.
Gotcha. All right, so there was a few interesting weird stats flying around.
Yeah, just overall weird fucking card.
Yeah, very weird card. Brian Kelleher had 3 replacement fights the day of the fight. I feel like every time I looked, there was just a different fucking announcement on who he was fighting. But I guess props to the UFC and props to Dana and the Athletic Commission out in Nevada there for making it happen, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I lost on that fight. I took Ray Rodriguez, but
I think one thing we've learned with the UFC is no matter what happens,
the show
goes on.
The show goes on. But yeah, so we got a 7-fight main card. Nothing particularly, nothing really to write home about. Nothing with like super heavy implications. Fight of the night had to be, or performance of the night at least, Michelle Pereira. That was fucking awesome.
I need to just throw this out there before we even get into these fights. If you were on a stream with us Saturday night, you saw that it wasn't the most fun night for me. My internet wasn't working.
Zero fun.
Flyers were getting butt fucked. So yeah, I couldn't even watch most of these fights because I was just looking at a error. Somehow it was still on Zoom. But yeah, that fight sounded awesome. Just listening to seriously, just sitting here listening to fucking your friends talk about how sick a fight is when you're just sitting here. I wish I could fight. Wish I could watch it. But yeah, it was like you said. You can get into it. I still haven't gotten to see it. I have Fight Pass. I'll run it back. But
we tried to do as much live commentary as we could. But I mean, Michelle Pereira, Salim Imadaev, Salim talking a lot of shit at the weigh-ins. He's throwing slaps, he's swiping, and talking about a tweet that I saw, great content for me. But I saw a tweet that was like Zaleem reaping, or no, Zaleem sowing, and it was him slapping Pereira at the weigh-in. So it was Zaleem reaping, and it was Pereira kissing his hand and slapping him in the fucking face in the middle of the octagon. Talk about the disrespect. But I mean, Pereira put on an absolute fucking show. He had Showtime kicks, Superman punches. There was a Rolling Thunder attempt at one point he threw out there. The Stockton slap. Absolutely incredible fight. Contract fight from him. I personally hope we see him back. Michel Pereira always puts on a hell of a fucking show.
And he called out Jorge, right?
He did. He wants that BMF belt.
Seems like a lot of people are calling out Jorge these days because
I think people are calling out Jorge because they know he's a journeyman, and B, also a big money fight, if we're being honest. I love Jorge. He's electric. But if you look at his career in total, I mean, before the Darren Till knockout and this little winning streak he went on.
It's the resurrection, bro.
The resurrection, sure. Before the Usman fight where he got kind of exposed, but like every actual MMA fan, I feel like, kind of knew that he would. There's nothing that impressive about Jorge's career. And I love the guy. He's electric. I'm really happy to see him, A, knowing what he's worth and holding out for it, and B, getting his worth and saying, no, I'm an A-side draw. I move the fucking needle, and that's how you're going to pay me. I respect the shit out of that.
Yeah.
I also respect the shit out of calling him out because it's probably the easiest big money fight you're going to get.
I mean, you're probably right by saying it's the easiest big money fight you're going to get because the money you're talking is like the top fighters.
Right.
But I think you got to give him a little more credit. Because I still think he's like an insanely skilled striker, and he beat the shit out of Diaz. You didn't talk about that one.
He's probably the best boxer in the welterweight division.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm curious to see what happens now. Leon Edwards is calling him out, of course, but we'll see where he goes next. That would be a good
fight. I think Leon kills him also, to be honest. But that's a much better stylistic matchup for Jorge than probably any of the other guys in the top 5 at welterweight.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Just as far as like Leon's going to stay in the clinch and dirty box and do all the shit that Jorge likes to do.
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, next fight, Alonzo Menifield betrayed me. He betrayed me. He betrayed us all.
He just stunk.
That fight did stink, man. It really stunk. You hate to sit here and be like, oh, that fight stunk. Like, those guys went out, and I know they went out, they performed, they put it all on the line. Like, I respect
they didn't.
That, but
they didn't put
it just
shit
wasn't
on the
entertaining.
Line. No one even took a chance.
Yeah, Menifield just was looking good defensively. Was looking like the faster, quicker, more technical fighter. But just every time he slipped a big shot from OSP, he just refused to take his window and refused to throw anything. Absolutely refused. And even OSP wasn't even throwing that much either. And he just kind of caught Menifield right on the jaw coming in, and that was that.
Menifield, he was dipping his head down like in the perfect range just to get hit in the worst spot right on the chin. Yeah. The whole fight, he didn't. What did he throw? I think they showed that on the bottom at one point he had 2 strikes in the second round.
It was gross. You're not going to win doing that.
Guy.
Yeah, I know everyone wants to counter and wait for their perfect shot and the shot that's going to end the fight, but at a certain point, you got to come out and you got to fucking fight.
And I got to be honest, I'm like so out on OSP. Like, I don't think he's good anymore.
No, I'm with you there. Like, I don't. Where does he go from here? Because he went back down to light heavyweight for this fight. Like, and I don't know where Menifield goes either. Menifield's dropped 2 straight after a 9-0 start to his career. So both of those. I mean, light heavyweight's a mess. We've talked about it before, but 205 is just a fucking mess right now, man.
Wow, they gave out 4 performances of the night.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and that was one of them. I mean, I guess flashy knockout, but the fight sucked in my opinion.
Yeah, wasn't great.
And it was the one that I got to watch before I had like my internet for 20 minutes.
That was your window?
And I got to see that fight, and then I saw the end of the Uberim fight.
Yeah, it wasn't sweet, but yeah, we can move on. I don't know if he's Uberim anymore, but
no,
the Reem looked pretty good, man. He didn't look bad. I'll give it to him. Sakai looked kind of how I expected him to be honest. I know we were talking about this beforehand off the pod, but I was never personally. I took Sakai, so hand up on that one. I lost clearly, but I was never personally fully sold on Sakai. Like his resume wasn't that impressive. Reem was definitely the most talented guy he's ever faced, and he's just kind of like, I think somebody was saying it in the chat. Maybe it was Sexray, maybe it was somebody else, but like it's really, really hard to buy in and be like, yeah, these guys are like the top athletes in the world when like your fucking gut is bouncing around and like you
Yeah, but
like,
that doesn't necessarily like Mark Hunt had an unbelievable career and he was a fat dude.
yeah, no, you're right,
Like you
you're
can't
right.
you can't
It's
define a guy by that, but I see what you're saying.
no, but it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, dude, maybe if you like really worked your ass off and really got in great shape, like you would actually be like a top 5 heavyweight in the world. You know what I mean? Like, not that he isn't already an incredible fighter. He's in the UFC. He's clearly would beat the fuck out of what 99.99999% of other people on earth. But like
Yeah.
to be at that top level, I just feel like I don't know. It's really hard. Maybe this is just a dickhead take for me, but it's just really
I don't know.
hard for me
I
to like.
see where you're going. I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with it, but I will say I think the biggest issue with Sakai
He
was
doesn't have power.
well, that's I was gonna say early on, like he was really landing a lot of clean shots, but nothing with anything really
Nothing with
behind it.
power.
And
The
then when
whole fight.
you're in
Yeah, dude.
heavyweight,
You
you gotta have
can't
power in your hands that can put people out.
you can't point fight at heavyweight. And that's what he was doing. He was point fighting. He was landing clean, crisp combos. They were quick. His hands looked quick, but there was no power behind them. There was like Dareem was never in danger of getting finished in that fight. I don't think, at least. Maybe there were one or two big elbows, some big shots in the clinch that Sakai landed,
Yeah,
but
landed some big shots. I don't think anything did that much damage though.
right. There
Um,
was never a moment where I felt like this fight is like Reem is really, really in danger of losing this fight here. And then once Alistair figured out that little leg trip up against the cage, I mean, Sakai had nothing for that from what was it, the third round on, and that was
well, and I was also gonna say I mean I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, at least in UFC, definitely this was his first 5 round fight, and that's I mean, especially in the heavyweight division, that's hard, man, to get to the fifth, especially for if you've something you've never done before.
yeah, no,
Um,
for sure.
so give a little credit to him. He got there, but
That
one
ground and pound was
yeah,
brutal,
once
man.
it
Those
got to that
fucking
point,
bows. Ugh. There was a shot of the finishing sequence that was just like, oh, Navy with the pick. I should be paying more attention, but just bow. The third one sliced him open, and then backhand, and then Herb had seen enough, and that was that.
yeah, he at that point he had nothing left to defend to do anything.
No, but
He was
It's either Alistair or Curtis Blades who has the most brutal ground and pound in the UFC, at least at heavyweight, and goodness gracious. I mean, watching one of those shots, it's just like I don't understand how Sakai is still awake because I think that one elbow would have actually disintegrated my skull.
a whole entire head would have exploded.
It literally would have collapsed my skull. And
But yeah, I mean, overall, UFC, what is it? UF COVID
yeah,
card.
yeah, US Open.
Weird card. Not a lot of fights. Was wrong, I think, on all of my picks.
Yeah, not a great night for the boys.
So I'll just we can just pretend this one didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's cool
All
with
right.
me.
Yeah, the card had COVID and it opted out.
Yeah, exactly.
So it opted out of my memory.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, just once again, a huge thank you to Ray Longo, the whole Sarah Longo fight team for fucking with us up to this point, and all those guys who have given us the their time of day and their attention, and we got to talk to the guy at the head of it right now, which is pretty fucking cool, man. Pretty fucking cool. But make sure you give Ray a follow at Ray Longo MMA on Twitter. Make sure you give Ross and I a follow at Harry__Mac, at Ross_Bullet, at Bookie's Basement. Follow us on Twitch for Boozin' and Boozin' streams, as always. Boozin' and Bruising.
Yeah, boozing and bruising.
I fuck that up all the time.
I was gonna help you out there.
I simply never get it right. It's
Boozing
our
and
own,
boozing.
it's our own show, and I just refuse to get it right. But yeah, that's how I do it, man. That's how I do.
It was close though.
Yeah, it was a good effort. Whatever, dude. But hey, man. Yeah, a big thank you to everybody again. Thank you to you guys for tuning in, listening, and everybody have a great week. You got anything else, Ross?
That's all I got. Everyone enjoy this one. Hopefully we got more and more to come as the days keep going.
Truck
So
guy.
we're gonna do our best to keep pumping it out for you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's really all I got. Hopefully next weekend's card's a little better.
Facts. All right, everybody. Have a good week. I had something. I lost it.
Yeah, I think you should just end it and go to bed.
Yeah, dude. Just
All right.
fucking shut my brain off. All right. Later, friends.
La música de Harry Fraud.